This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in London, a couple of days out from a Matchroom fight night with Jacob's Rider. Of course, I'm joined by S-Jam's very own Shane Watson, who's got Johnny Fisher on the card. Before we talk about that, Shane, just talk to me about how everything's going at S-Jam, mate.
Yeah, really good. Pretty much all of our fights have got fight dates. It's a couple of out with injuries at the moment, like Sold Acres, who'll be returning soon as well. Joyce as well, currently nursing an injury, but he'll be back soon as well. Everything's going really well. Obviously, a lot of changes gone on recently, involving like obviously me taking over from Sam. Adam's still number one doing what he does, so that's obviously not going to change. And we've hired a few other people as well. But yeah, good.
Yeah, let's talk about you then, and what your role entails. So, what's your day-to-day service to all your fighters?
Checking in on them all the time. Number one, making sure their well-being's okay, making sure they're happy with training, coaches, diets, all that kind of stuff. Matchmaking is a massive part of what I do. Like, I pretty much pick all my fighters' opponents. Obviously, I go to the teams as well. I don't just like, yeah, we're fine. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, we get. But I put the opponents forward. I study and I look at who I think they should fight. I do slightly help with sponsorships, even though we have a guy called Harry who does that full time. But I do help where I can. Visit them all the time. Do you know what? When you're a manager, I think, to be honest, not that I am just their full-time manager, because obviously that's what Adam does as well. But you kind of look after everything of their whole life. It's like almost, you know like a teacher at school. They don't just teach your kids. They're like their counsellors. They do everything for them. And it's kind of a bit like that being a manager. Like, you got to look after almost everything in their life. And that's just kind of what we do, basically.
It's a big responsibility. And I know yourself used to work in what I do, you used to work in the media. So how did you make that transition from boxing media to becoming a manager?
Yeah, so it happened. I got a bit sick with the media after a while, because I just felt like it wasn't for me. I gave it a good run with my mate Pav back then, and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I just felt like it was getting really repetitive for me, and I just didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted. Fancied a change, got in touch with Sam at the time, spoke with him. I knew Adam before that as well. Had a chat for a while, joined the team some years back. And then, but even then, I wouldn't really even label myself really that much a part of the management team, because I was just helping with things that were a lot lower down than that. So I was almost just a member of staff, was kind of really at the time. They didn't make me feel that way. That's basically what it was. That's what it was. But now, like, I'd make a lot more important and better decisions. So like now, I'd probably label myself a bit more as like part of the management team.
Yeah. Who's the easiest one to work with?
Do you know what? Yeah, I think none of them will get offended by this, but I have to say probably the easiest is actually probably Johnny Fisher. I'm not saying it because it's his fight week. Like, he's just happy with everything, and I'm not saying it's even a good thing to not to be happy with everything. It probably isn't actually, probably a bit of a weakness. But he's just happy with everything. He's just happy to be here. But of course he's going to be the easiest one. He didn't ever envision this was going to happen either. Like, a lot of the others, like Lorraine, was a great amateur. Florian's got some crazy fan base. Joyce, stellar amateur career. So they do expect loads of big things and whatnot. But Johnny never expected anything, so he's just almost like happy with what he's got.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, he's got to be happy with the amount of tickets he's been doing, and it's getting bigger and bigger. How many has he done for the Ali Pali?
Do you know what? It's kind of a shame actually almost, because he would have done 4,000 no problem. Like, there were some guys that wanted like 200 tickets. Like, just to buy 200 of you and stuff like that, and he had to tell them to go to StubHub or go to other fighters on the bill. So I think he's done 2,300, I think is the actual number. But they'll still do a couple hundred this week. So they'll probably go up to about 2,600, 2,700. Because it's only the amount they were allowed to get. They wanted 4,000 and they would have got rid of 4,000, no problem. But listen, there's other guys on the bill in there, and I think Matchroom want people to buy them off the website as well, because if they're all buying off Johnny Fisher, they've got to pay his very good commission he gets on his tickets and whatnot as well. It's still a business at the end of the day. And like I said, other fighters have got to sell tickets too. But yeah, he would have done 4,000, no problem. If this was at the O2 or something, he would have been given 4,000, so because obviously it's a much bigger arena. But he wasn't given that. So, but he done every ticket he's got. So.
Okay, well, Johnny Fisher sounds like he's the easiest one to work with.
Yeah.
Who's the hardest one to work with?
Do you know what? It's a difficult one, because everyone's different in different ways, and I manage them all in different ways. Adam manages them all in different ways. I think Florian, in a way, but you know what it is? It's because he wants it so bad. He wants to be so successful so bad, and I admire it. I love the way he acts. I love the way he wants things done this way and done that way. I love it. I admire it because he wants it so bad. He will give everything, literally he would sacrifice his life, like genuinely, to be a world champion. If it meant that he couldn't live for a week, he had 1 week to live afterwards, he'd take it. I know he would. He would take to be world champion for that 1 week and then not be here anymore. That's the kind, and I admire that. I'd much rather a fighter have that attitude and cause problems or grief. He does cause problems, by the way. He doesn't cause problems, but be hard work and then give everything in the gym and wants to do so well and gives everything to the sport. That's exactly the perfect fighter to be. So I love the fact that he is that way.
Well, I know Fisher's obviously on this card. John Hedges on the 27th.
Yeah.
I've heard some news on Lauren Richards, which I can't say on camera, but it's going to be some big news. A really good fight for him, big profile fight for him as well. Who are the other guys in your stable? Florian, what's the updates with him?
So FLORIAN MARKU, we're talking at the moment. We're looking at him fighting in April. A specific date in April, not too sure yet, because we've got Ramadan as well. Obviously, everyone is Muslim. So we're looking for early April, but it's not guaranteed yet. Like, we're still working on dates and times for that. But,
okay. And a good deal with Sky Sports and Boxer for him.
Yeah, absolute credit to Adam again. I mean, listen, this is the one thing side I don't deal with is the contracts at all, because Adam's expertise in that field is far superior to what I'll ever be in contract. I think he's far superior to anyone in the sport at writing contracts. And that's hence why he's got our fighters such great deals. But he's got a great deal at Sky Sports, and it's not just a great deal for him, it's a great deal for them too, great deal for Boxer as well. I mean, they've got a star name added to that stable now, who can sell a lot of tickets, and also he's a big name worldwide. Look at his following and whatnot, and the support he attracts wherever he goes. So yeah, credit to Adam, massive deal he's got there, and really good moving forward for Florian.
Okay, can't do an interview with someone from SJM and not talk about a potential heavyweight world champion in Joyce, sitting in a pretty position at WBO #1. But it's a bit of a waiting game at the moment, and seeing who he can fight, before he's called as mandatory. So what we're looking at for Joe, I've heard May is a kind of date for him. Yeah,
May. I think it's important he's got to get to May, because July was the last time he fought against Carlos Sakam. Obviously, that is quite a long time ago now, but obviously it's not any fault to anyone's own. You get injured, it happens. It's sport. Yeah, we've been looking at a lot of names. You know what it is? When you get to this, because the heavyweight division is such a mess and like a mix-up at the moment, it's very hard to nail down certain ends, because some people are waiting for title shots here, some think they're going to get some here. And Joe is still a difficult style for people, but now he's got a financial reward too. It makes it a little bit easier, but yeah, it's we're looking for someone within the top 10. We want a top 10 heavyweight.
It's a bit of a concern that we've got essentially two semi-finals here in Fury White and Usyk Joshua. Whoever comes up victorious in Usyk Joshua will look to make an undisputed fight with the winner of Fury White. So we know undisputed fights take precedence over mandatory. So could Joe be waiting maybe till next year to be called as mandatory? Is that a worry?
I mean, I wouldn't really say it's a worry. I mean, obviously it's something that's on our radar, we're thinking about and we do talk about. I think you just got to be realistic. I mean, that's obviously probably going to happen. I mean, the winners are going to collide, because that's what everyone wants. I mean, I think we should. It's good for the heavyweight division. We want an undisputed champion, didn't we? But if that happens, we keep Joe ready. We keep him fighting world level guys. We keep getting him paid. We keep him as #1, and he gets his shot whenever it happens. But I'm very confident by very early next year he'll have his world title shot. And if it comes then, he becomes a world champion then. It doesn't matter when it is. He'll get his chance, and he'll take it. You can't help the politics what's going on outside the sport. All we can help is make sure Joe's in the best shape, getting wins, getting in the ring, earning good money, looking after himself. The rest will come, and I've a lot of faith in Frank Warren that he will deliver Joe the world title shot that he promised. Same with BT, same in the WBO. I like the WBO and I have a lot of respect for them, and I believe that they will allow Joyce to have his opportunity sooner rather than later.
Okay, well listen, there have been rumours of a Joseph Parker fight potentially happening.
Yeah.
Can you make any comment on that for Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure what's happened with the most recent days, but there is talks. There was a lot of talk. So we are going to make them an offer. There are some fragile things around the matter that I probably can't really go too deep into, but it's a fight that Joe definitely wants. He was up for. I'm sure it's a fight that Parker will want, knowing the kind of fighter that Joseph Parker is. Knowing how David Higgins is, I'm assuming that's probably a fight that he would like. Interestingly, he puts his guy in good hard fights. Done it before. It's a great fight, #1 versus #2. But in the WBO, I'm not saying #1, #2 heavyweight, but #1, #2 in the WBO. And I think outside of that heavyweight collision course, it's probably the best fight to make in that division.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a little bit better than Trevor Bryan, isn't it? So I would go for Joyce Parker. I think it's a great fight, and I think that fight sells itself. But we have to wait and see. I mean, these fights are not easy to make because everyone wants the right deal and the best move for their guy, including us. So we'll see where we go with that one, really.
Well, listen, we eagerly await news with Joe Joyce. The fans want to see him back in the ring. Shane, thank you very much for your time on IFL TV, and best of luck to Johnny Fisher this Saturday night.
Nice one. Take it easy.